So I got a somewhat of a format here. We usually talk about the early days first. So let's chat a little bit about where you grew up. You were born in Longview, right?
Henderson.
Henderson.
My
Grew
family
up in
lived in
Longview.
Longview. Yeah, my
Yeah.
family lived in Longview, but my grandmother worked at the Henderson Hospital, Henderson Memorial.
Okay.
So my mom went there. She had me, and then when they were ready to go home, I went right back to 208 Ekman Street in Longview, which is downtown, baby.
So the first thing I want to say is not just a friend of Ricky's, but and Ricky will agree to this. I was a fan of Ricky's before I ever met him, and he knows that. He knows that. We've chatted about that, and
We have.
I gotta say, bro, like everybody out there, Ricky does not get enough East Texas um, notoriety, right? Like you hear about the Miranders and Neil McCoys and Sonny Sweeney's and Liam Womack's and all of these fabulous artists,
Yeah.
Gene Watson that came from East Texas, and your name is hardly ever up there, and that really does hurt me, like it should be. Your name should be amongst those as somebody who was born and raised here in East Texas. Another guy that I feel like deserves that doesn't get it too is Claude Gray. I feel like the
Oh, no doubt.
I feel like the two of y'all are super underrated as East Texas artists that were born and raised here. And man, I hate that. How do you feel about that? I know you're going to be humble, but like, do you ever think about stuff like that?
uh, yes, I think about it when it comes up in conversation and somebody reels off a bunch of names and mine's not included. It stings a little bit. It used to hurt back in the old days, but I figured this, Boston, um, that's the way it goes.
I
As
also want to say that of all the people I just mentioned, Ricky is the one that is still in the community in East Texas, supporting the arts in East Texas, going to the shows of other artists in East Texas, playing in East Texas. And it's just your name's not mentioned as part of that, and that really hurts my feelings, man.
well, you said the key word. I'm humble, and my beliefs are strong with our Holy Father, and I've had to go to him on several occasions and have learned that pride is is not is
Yeah,
not a winning combination
right.
there.
Now I'm only going to ask him this question in this fashion because I'm dozens of miles away from him, right? So I'm completely safe. Um, I think you would agree that you were a mama's boy, right?
Well, great question. I was the fifth of five, and here was my first four brothers,
Right.
and then 10 years later,
Yep.
out came me. So really, I was oldest in my litter.
Right.
But yes, my mother
I know
adored
that
me.
your mom was just so important to you, and
Yes, yes, she was. I left home not for good, but I left home at 19, only to return at 29 for a year.
yeah.
And I've been out of, I really didn't grow up past 18 with my mother. So we kept a long distance relationship. Our relationship grew through my savvy days, and she would come see me. My brother Gene would bring her down,
Hmm.
and it was awesome. And then I got with Head East, and I really lost track. There'd be 3 months before I talked to her because things were so expensive as far as phone. Remember the phone calls?
Hmm.
They were costing like two
Yeah.
dollars a minute or something. But and I promised her, Mom, I'm gonna make it, Mom. I'm gonna make it. Well, when I did get close to having a country record contract, I told all my family. Well, I told Larry. I said, I don't want Mom to know, but I need you to fly her in to DFW airport
Yeah.
because I'm flying this afternoon to go sign a record contract with Jimmy Bowen.
Yeah.
And so my mother, I meet up with her the next morning. She's going, what's going on? I put her on a plane. We get to we're off getting off the plane, and we're on the little chute that you come out at. And when we opened that door, there were four video cameras filming a documentary by Cabin Fever. Um, and my mom, her eyes were bigger than
Yeah.
saucers, but that was my reward to her for supporting me and encouraging me.
Yep.
And
You
then
you once told me that just about everything your mom told you as a youngster came true, and you were just so poor at listening to her, and like you really didn't start listening to her until your 30s.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's when I turned everything around.